Can you believe that a company that was founded in 2006 now exceeds the value of a company that was founded as far back as 1851? I can't even wrap my mind around that. I'm talking about Twitter. When I first heard that, I said, tweet what? But a company that came into existence in 2006 now has value of almost 3.7 billion. A New York Times that was founded as far back as 1851, which has been a symbol of American journalism, a symbol of American democracy, now is barely one half of what Twitter is worth. It appears to me that we're living through a new era. And I don't even want to talk about Facebook, because I'm aware that you probably you've been following what is going on in the news. Facebook is worth how much? 50 what? Billion. So it's a new era. So the question is, are we going to be part of that era, or are we going to miss that train? Are we going to miss that boat? My hope today is that we can join that discussion, we can be part of that new era, so that we are not passive observers, so that we can step out there, not only use those tools, but use those tools to our own competitive advantage. So the point is, if you are interested in using social media to position yourself ahead of other people seeking the same jobs with you, then I guess this session this morning may have a couple of suggestions for you. If you are looking at using social media to leverage the minds of those who are the best in the game, then I guess the session this morning would be relevant for you. If you are looking at using social media to make yourself more visible, more accessible to recruiters, then I believe that our session this morning may have a little value for you. Before I go on, I asked Linda, who was the speaker last week? Oh, she told me it was another speaker on social media. I don't know about you, but I got a little bit worried. I was like, okay, how was he received? She said it was very well received. I asked her, so should I be worried? She said, yes, you should be very worried. And as a result of that, I got up this morning and suddenly I realized I've lost all my hair. So I got quite a little bit worried, but I felt everybody has their own perspective. Why not just go and share your own perspective so that it would enrich the conversation and let the audience choose what they are able to implement and what they're able to take away. So my goal this morning is to share what I call 10 extra mile strategies that would allow you to outcompete others, to make yourselves more visible, more accessible by the recruiters, because like Mike McDowell told you last week, 1 in 5 recruiters now using social media sites to figure out if you are the right candidate that they are looking for. So let's begin. First thing I'd like to share is that social media is a new language. It's a language and it's also a marriage. Why do I say it's a language and it's a marriage? It's a marriage between two individuals. On one hand, we have Miss Social, and on the other hand, we have Mr. Technology. Unfortunately, I believe that most people emphasize only Mr. Technology, only the technical aspects of it, forgetting the social elements which form the core and the base of social media. Social media would not be called social if the social elements were not there. So the first and the most important thing is I want to reinforce the element of social in social media to allow all of us then go ahead, use the tools and technologies out there to leverage them and be able to stay ahead of the game. My perspective is this. I am looking at it like a boy who grew up in a community that is very far away from here, and I have had to live in different cultures and trying to learn new languages. So let me bring you to 1998. I was barely leaving Cameroon at the age of 26, beginning to explore the world. Now, if you were sitting on that flight with me from Douala, Cameroon, to South Africa, to Johannesburg, South Africa, and you asked me, young man, where are you heading to? I would probably have said to you, I don't know. And if you had pressed me hard enough to know where I was going, I would just have said, I really don't know. All I know is that, and all I care about is that I want to go somewhere that I will be challenged and I will be using my ideas to the best of my ability. So how does that relate to social media? I grew up speaking a Bantu language. I went to South Africa. There were 11 official languages. In Cameroon, we were struggling with 2, English and French, in addition to our mother tongues. But in South Africa, I was told that there are 11 official languages. And English is spoken, but please, to have a relationship sometimes required me to learn some of the local languages, some of the local slangs. It was not easy for me. In 1999, I met an Irish priest by name Father Steve. He had been living in Botswana, in the Kalahari Desert, in the heart of the Kalahari Desert, working with the Bushmen. He is an Irish priest. He'd been living there for almost 12 years as of that time. And I had a good conversation with me. He told me that learning that language was very challenging for him. That the Bushman language has almost 21 different cliques. And that he couldn't even pronounce or even come up with half of those 21 cliques. One single word can be pronounced in very different ways. I thought about that. I said, this guy has been here for almost 12 years. He still can't speak the language. How much more of me? I've just been there for 2 years. Social media, in my view, is a new language that we have to learn. And the best way to learn it is to have the mindset of a missionary. What do I mean by missionary? Assume that you're a missionary. Your goal is to go overseas and evangelize, get the word out. And your promotion when you get back home would depend very much on your performance as a missionary. So put yourself in Father Steve's shoes. The first point is that see social media as though you are a missionary on mission overseas working with the Bushmen. What are you going to do to be able to evangelize, get your word out there, and let them buy in that you are the one that is going to help save their lives? That is the basis of our conversation today. So if you become a missionary, what do you do? Number one thing is you have to figure out a niche. In that country where you'll be operating, who are the people that you'll be working with? So if you look at your handout, one of the questions I'm asking there is, what is your niche? There are thousands of social media tools out there. Which ones are you going to use? Which industry do you want to be part of? Which field are you part of? So if you identify your niche, your job would be a lot easier and a lot better. There is a handout that I gave which has to do with where